Welcome back to the Del Mar opening day preview here. Now we're getting ready to jump into race 4, which is a claiming 32,000 for horses that have not won a race in 2012. Ugh, these kind of races really frustrate me.
Someone will be out of this category after 3:30 at Del Mar.
Yes, thankfully. These are, for me, this is definitely one of the toughest type of races to handicap, considering nobody's ever won. But this is where I kind of look for a horse that has been consistent, at least finish second or third. But you hope that they can maybe push themselves to the limit. I mean,
and you have a few of those in here too.
Yeah, we got a few horses here that finished second and third this year, but there's those horses that just like finishing second and third, and horses that just don't want to win. So who's your top pick in this race?
Well, this was another very difficult race for me to choose. There were a bunch. There was Lamb, Imponente Purse, even a horse like Sir Dave, who's had a very long layoff, and Mr. Candy Bar. I was looking at all these horses, but going here, probably a chalky pick, but I'll have to go with Lamb. He's consistent. I'm a little nervous that the last time he won was in July of 2011, July 2nd. So it's been a year since he's won, but last race, for example, he ran against Arraignment on June 17th at Hollywood Park, Betfair Hollywood Park, that is, and Arraignment came back and won his next race. And Lamb finished second, and he beat a horse named The Unusual One, who finished third, and The Unusual One came back and also won his next race. So I'm saying that this horse, maybe Arraignment was a little too good for him, but he's in a softer spot here, I think. And I think he can pull it off here. He's got Chantal Sutherland, Doug O'Neill, for being the trainer of All Have Another. But he does very well with claimers as well. And this seems to be a good spot for Lamb.
I can agree with you on Lamb. Lamb's actually my second choice in this race. I mean, Doug O'Neill is 13% off the claim. Claim this horse. I mean, Chantal Sutherland, you know how I feel about her. I already said how I feel. I kind of see going from Garrett Gomez to Chantal Sutherland as somewhat a downgrade. But I still made Lamb. I could definitely see what you mean with Lamb. But, one of the things at Del Mar that I've always tried to stay away from, I can't help but not say this, that Doug O'Neill and the Great Friends Stable, they've had troubles down here at Del Mar. They don't seem to win down here. But I think this can be a good opening day for them. I like Lamb as my second choice. But for my top choice, this is a tough race. I don't really see much speed in this race. I tried to find a horse that could maybe go out to lead that might get a pretty nice lead. I couldn't really find one, so I decided to go with Hall of Fame, future Hall of Famer, I think, in Bejarano, and with the Hall of Famer Jerry Hollendorfer, and I went with Saratoga Yankee. I ended up on him. He's getting ready to come off a little layoff. He's dropping in class from a claiming 50,000. He goes down to 32,000. That's a bit of a question mark. Usually when you see a horse take a drop in class. 31 to 60 days off. Hollendorfer is hit at 22%. I like looking at the trainer percentages at the bottom of the PPs. That's one thing I really love to look at. That's a positive for me. The horse does have class, previously racing in allowance races. You can go way back to when this horse raced at Oaklawn Park, Remington Park. The horse hasn't won since November of 2010. I mean, that's probably what I think people are going to be real nervous about. But I think I think 32,000 seems to be the right class for him, and plus the fact that he's racing horses that have not won this year as well. This is an easier fit for him. I think Saratoga Yankee is my top choice.
I tend to agree with you on that. This is definitely an easier spot. Not much speed, and you see two races back that he was very close to the pace, and probably going in the turn he took the lead. It looks like in 2 races back in April. So this is a very logical pick, and at this distance, he's only run twice, but he's finished first and a second. On the turf, he's 4 for 6 lifetime, and looking at his other running lines, it looks like he probably enjoys the turf. So he's by Yankee gentleman, so the turf obviously he enjoys. So I don't see why he can't go. Maybe even try to take the lead here and go wire to wire.
And for me, what really locked in as this horse being my top pick, it's just when you have Bejarano and you got a trainer such as Hollendorfer. I mean, they know what they're doing, and they hit at an 18% clip, and I just looking at the field isn't all that great. No horse really stands out. I just ended up just landing on Saratoga Yankee just mainly because I think the horse is numbers wise and
and he's got an outside post that's going to benefit him. He's going to
yes.
be able to see the horses inside of him. If nobody wants to go out there, Ron will just put him out there.
Yes. And then when I was trying to look for that second horse, as I said, Lamb, I ended up with Lamb mainly because O'Neill 13% off the claim, and the way the horse has been real consistent as well. I mean, he's finished in the money 4 out of the 4 times this year. Like I said, I just hope he's not that kind of horse that just likes finishing second and third. But he's won 5 times in his life. Who knows? I mean, who would you say your second pick is?
Well, I if I could make a tie, I would have picked him with Saratoga Yankee. But I have to go ahead and pick Imponente Purse, who's another chalk horse. Looking at his back class, obviously he's the class of the field, but he had a layoff from October to January, and he came back and just wasn't the same horse. At one point last year, about a year ago, he was running in some good races and running well in those good races, especially the long distance. But it doesn't look like he's the same horse. But I think he's in a softer spot here. Edwin Maldonado jumps back aboard, and he lost to a horse named Quail Hill. And I've actually followed Quail Hill. He's a Candy Ride horse. He's by Candy Ride, and he's a tough horse. He doesn't let people buy him. Not saying that Imponente Purse isn't a tough horse himself, but Quail Hill's not a bad horse either. Imponente Purse did go favorite and finish second. Maybe an exotic pick more than anything else, but I think that he has a very good shot, and I think he could be close to the pace too as well. If there is no speed, which you say there is not, and I tend to agree with you.
The thing about Imponente Purse that really drew me away from, I really wanted to make him my second choice. He's my third choice in this race. Is the fact that he's racing in a mile in the 16th. He's used to the longer distance. Just looking at his recent races, a mile and 3/16, a mile and a quarter, a mile and a half, a mile and an eighth. I mean, like you said, I agree. He's raced against great horses in the past. Back in last year, he actually raced here in the Dalmar Handicap. Lost to Celtic New Year. He lost to Acclamation at the Hirsch up at Santa Anita back in October of last year. But like you said, when he came back off that layoff, he just wasn't the same horse. And AC Avila, I mean, just real quick note on AC Avila. I mean, when I think of him, I think of Omar Barrio, and I know the problems that Omar's had recently. I hope he can get better soon. And when he dropped it into claiming 25,000, he showed that he can still be a competitive horse. I mean, like you said, Quail Hill, he couldn't get by him. He lost by half a length. Maybe this is probably the easiest race he will have.
Yep.
In his, I won't say career, but it's been a long time since he's going to have a field like this. I mean, this horse, you definitely pick threes, pick three doubles. You got to have this horse on here. I think he's going to be a good price too. I mean, considering that he really hasn't shown strong buyers, he gets Maldonado.
He finished second in his last race at 81 buyer figure in the farm, so there was a little bit of improvement there. But this is a make-or-break race for him. Either he runs well and shows that he has a little bit left in the tank, or if he doesn't run well here, it's going to be down to maybe something even lower because this is a very soft spot, and he needs to be able to run well here if he wants to be competitive.
I personally think I think that somebody's going to claim him in this race. I mean, it's an easy spot for him, and he's shown that he was capable of being a great horse. Not even less than a year ago, he was a great horse, and I think somebody's going to put in a claim for him.